All right. So now you can see here we are on the home screen of the tablet. Here on the home screen, you are going to see some information such as your 4 main applications. You have your EVER inspections, navigation, Z-logs, and if I go ahead and go over to the right, we do have messaging. You can see we do have a notification bar up top, so you can see this is where you can also see the battery life, the date and time. If I go ahead and actually scroll the notification bar down, this is where you're going to see some of the kind of everything that's happening in the back end of the tablet. So you can see Copilot is running. This is our navigation app. You can also see Bobby has changes to verify. This is actually in reference to our Z-logs, and this is the edit that we just went ahead and pushed down from ground traffic control. And you can also see we have 2 unread messages. You can go ahead and clear out. And what that does is you can see it kind of wipes away some of our notification bar. It doesn't erase anything, but it just kind of cleans up the notification bar. We do keep the verify edits here on the notification bar just because we always want the driver to go ahead and accept these, as we always want their logs as live as possible. Below, you can see we do have a shelf down here. So we have our messaging application as well. Just the way if somebody doesn't want to go, swipe over to the next screen and access messaging, they can always just access the app right here. We have a quick locking utilities feature. So this just shows us the live time. This is where drivers can use a stop, watch, alarm clock, and timer. We have a all apps application. If I go ahead and select this is where we can view all the apps installed on the device. So you can see we have the browser, calculator, camera, and clock. You also get the gallery, as well as your 4 main applications like the EVER inspections, messaging, navigation, and if I go ahead and slide on over, we have our Z-logs. And you can see we also have a help file. So we did go over the help support documentation on ground traffic control. We have something very similar to that on the tablet side. So you can see now we're at our Zonar application in general help. You can see this is categorized per app. So you can see we do have Z-logs help, EVER, messaging, and navigation. So for example, if I had a question on how to attach my photos to an inspection, I can go here. I can select the EVER application. And you can see here, for example, we do have the question, how do I attach a photo of my inspection? I can go ahead, select that. Now you can see there's the question, it gives us the answer here, as well as some screenshots of what it would look like, and instructions and steps. So it's like that for just about every question here. Back out once again, I'll just go ahead and hit the back button. We also have quick tips, such as how to turn on and off the tablet, put it to sleep, using all the different features and buttons here on the tablet as well. We also have the user guide. This is kind of your general information. And then you got the cab card settings. With the cab card settings, as we kind of talked about on the support site, is instructions on how to access our roadside view and Z-logs. I'll go ahead and enter the cab card. You can see now it shows us United States cab card display and roadside view. So you can see it's going to give us instructions on how to actually access this. First, it looks like it's going to go ahead and we go into Z-logs with the menu to the top left, and that's how you can access roadside view. It also gives instructions on how to use the actual report. So you can see here, the hyperlinks, how to use those, where to click. This is instructions for both the driver, how to access it, as well as the roadside officer if the situation is of a compliance check. So you can see it just gives us some instructions and information here on the app. I definitely strongly encourage the driver, know where this is on the tablet if a roadside inspection does occur. That way, if the roadside officer had any questions about how to use the roadside view or how to access the logs, this can always be a good help. So I'll go ahead and hit the home button. You can see on the bottom of our shelf, we also have auto brightness. This is one tab features and how to change your brightness. We also have a manage drivers. So you can see here, this is the current active driver logged in right now. This is where they can log out or add a co-driver. So now we're going to start digging into some of our applications here. The first application we're going to go into is our EVR inspections. So here in the EVR application, a couple of things you might notice. We do have a flashlight up here to the top right. Now this flashlight actually stays on every screen here in the EVR inspections. We do have an LED flashlight built into these tablets. So if drivers are doing inspections late at night, early in the morning, or if they're checking under the engine compartment or under the wheel well, we do have this flashlight always available for them to use. You can view the history of EVR inspections as well as inspection types. You can see the last inspection details, so we can actually view the last inspection that occurred on this vehicle. So you can see the asset number information if they want to view information on the asset. They can view the actual inspection details by hitting the hyperlink. So here you can see we got, it looks like some seats and graffiti. We also had a bent front bumper. You can also see we do have some general information up here up top. You can see this is an incomplete inspection. It looks like not all the zones were scanned. It looks like the brakes were though. It looks like those were all good. It looks like they also added a photo. We can go ahead and view that. So once again, you can see just a picture of the tag board here. We'll go ahead and hit the back button. And we'll go ahead and start inspection. So let's say, okay, we got into the app. We want to go ahead and start inspection. We can go ahead and do that. First thing it's going to ask you is choose the inspection type. We're going to go ahead and do a bus pre-trip. Select continue. Next thing is to scan the asset tag. Now, please notice that this is it's at 9:37 right now, 9:38, I should say. And this is going to be the timestamp it does when we go ahead and scan our asset tag. So once again, the asset tag is the usually installed on the dash, opposite color from your zone tags. And once you go ahead and scan that, it's going to ask you to review your last inspection. So we kind of already just looked at all this. I'll go ahead and select the checkbox and yep, I reviewed this. And I'll go ahead and select continue. I'll go ahead and enter the mileage information here, so the vehicle odometer. Once again, I'll select continue. And now we'll get to the perform new inspection screen. So this is kind of like what I call the checklist for EVR inspections. This is where we can go ahead and start scanning all of our zone tags. So please note, you don't have to go in this certain order. You can go in any order you want to while scanning zone tags. So from here, I actually don't have to select anything on the screen. I can just start going ahead with my tablet and go up to the zone tags and scan. So I'll just go up to the first one. And it looks like here it's going to show us the brakes. So I went ahead and scan the brakes compartment. Now it's going to ask us, please select the component to mark its defects. So I'll go through all these components, check them, make sure everything here looks good. Now let's say they do. Let's say I checked everything, there's no defects, it's all good, it's all okay. I can go ahead and select the mark all okay button down here to the bottom right. I'll go ahead and do that. And there we go. You can see now we have scanned the brakes. You can see there's a check mark and a timestamp of when we went ahead and scanned the zone tag. And now since we're back here on the Perform to Inspection page, I don't have to select anything. I can just go ahead and start scanning another zone tag. So now I went ahead and scanned the driver's seat area. So once again, I have to go ahead and go through all the components. Now let's say I see that loading SRV door. Let's say that door is really noisy. Every time I open and close it, it's just a loud screeching noise. I want to go ahead and mark that down. I'll go ahead and select the loading SRV door. And then it's going to list all the conditions it could possibly have. You can see broken glass, forced entry, inoperative, light. But now you can see noisy. Let's say it was something that wasn't listed here. We always have the other button down below where they can always go ahead and type the defect. Same thing on the component screen. If there was a component they didn't see, they can always go ahead and type the component. So you can see I'm going to go ahead and select noisy. And this is where it's going to ask us, is it safe to drive? Yes or no. It's just a noisy door. I feel like it's still safe to drive with this. I'm going to go ahead and select yes. You can see that's just going to be a defect now. You can delete this if you want to by hitting the trash button. But we're going to go ahead now. That's all I saw. I'm going to go ahead and select save. Once again, I'll keep going through all my components, making sure everything else looks good. Now let's say it was just that one defect. We can once again go ahead and select save. And now we scan the driver's seat area. You can see it's just one standard defect. So do one more, for example. Once again, I'll scan another zone tag. And we'll get to the front lighting. So let's say we're kind of looking at all this, looking through all the components here. Now let's say we had trouble with the bumper. I'll go ahead and select bumper. Once again, it's going to ask us the conditions. I'm going to go ahead and say it's missing. Like I don't even see the bumper. I can go ahead, select missing. Is it safe to drive? I would say, yeah, it's still safe to drive. We're just definitely missing a bumper here. Now, I can add photos if I want to. So if I want to add a photo of the missing bumper on the bus, I can by selecting the photo icon just up here. It's going to ask us, do you want to add a photo? Do we want to take a photo or choose from the gallery? I'm just going to go ahead and take a picture of my tag book again, which I already have here on this tablet. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose from gallery. I'll go ahead and select my photo. And now you can see that's attached here into the inspection. I can add more if I would like. So I can add 3 photos per zone and 5 photos total for an inspection. I'm just going to close. This is good enough for me. And I'll go ahead and save out of the bumper condition. And everything else looks good. I'll go ahead and select save again on the front lighting. Now you can see if I scroll down, we got our front lighting. So now let's say I'm finished with my inspection. I got all my zone tags scanned. I can go ahead and select continue. For now, we're going to get a pop-up saying, hey, this inspection is incomplete. Are you sure you want to continue? Probably most of the time, I'll go ahead and select no. As I can see, I still have the entering bus and a lot of other zones to still scan. But just for the sake of time, I'll go ahead and select continue and select the yes. Now you can see there's a red triangle by the yes. This is an incomplete inspection, so this is the symbol of the inspection. I'll still have to certify what I did was true and accurate. Hit the checkbox and select submit. And now what I'll go ahead and do is get my device. I'll put it back in its cradle, dock it. That way it can send that information, that inspection up to ground traffic control. So that's our EVER application here on the tablet side. I'll go ahead and hit the home button now, and we'll get back to the home screen. And we're going to go in now into our Z-Logs hours of service. Here you can see it's a 2-tile type of application. You can see our main tile. This will take us into the home screen of Z-Logs. You can see about 5 hours and 15 minutes until I need to take a 30-minute rest break. You can also see I'm in a current 16-hour exempt 70 Now, if I want to change my duty status, this is just a quick link below on how to change that. You can see I'm currently on duty. So I'll go into enter Z logs. So you can see here, it's popping up here to the Z logs home tile, and you can see we get a notification here. It looks like we have log edits to verify. This is due to this notification and due to the edits that we pushed down from ground traffic control. I'll go ahead and select continue. We got dispatcher's notes, so you can see 8:30 on duty start time. So it looks like that we changed the on duty to 8:30 here. I can always verify this. If I want to view what this looks like in a list view, I can. And you can see it originally was 8 o'clock, now changing to 8:30. So I'm going to go ahead and verify this by hitting the check mark. So now what it's going to do is it's going to process that real quick and make sure all the logs are accurate and reading the right information here. So we are here on the Z-Logs application tile, very similar to what we saw in ground traffic control. You can see we're viewing today's logs. You can see we still have the 11 hour, which just changed to 9 hours and 30 minutes due to that 30-minute change from our on-duty time. You have your 14-hour clock, your 70. Once again, you have your total miles and personal conveyance miles. I have about 5 hours, 14 minutes until I need to take a rest break. You can see my total distance driven. Once again, my off, sleeper berth, drive, and on-duty times. If I'm in violation, it'll show up in red. If I have a special duty status, such as personal conveyance, it will show in light blue. You can also see, once again, the clocks to the right of the grid. You can also see I can view the last 8 days. So if I wanted to view my last 8 days as a driver, I can. So just by scrolling up on the screen, I can view my logs. I'll go back and select today. You can see we do have our rule set here. So if I want to actually switch my rule set, I can just go ahead and click this link and switch to the rule set maybe I want to be in. Please note that all drivers make sure they want to go ahead and certify and verify all their log edits before switching rule sets, and they want to make sure the tablet is docked and connected when doing this. You can see we're currently viewing the grid view. If we want to view the list view, we can. It's just going to show us kind of that list view format here. Once again, you can still see the 7 o'clock drive time. That lasted about 1 hour and 30 minutes. And the 8:30 status for the on-duty. This is where drivers can edit their own logs. So, for example, drivers cannot edit any drive time in motion. If they tried, they would hit the edit pencil. And it's just going to tell them they cannot edit these for an in-motion duty status entry. This is something only the dispatchers can currently do. But if they wanted to go ahead and edit, a non-duty status, they can. They can just go ahead and hit the edit pencil. This is where they can change either the duty status, the time, and you can see there is a thing called annotation. This is where they can make any notes that they want to send up to the dispatchers just for better communication. We can go ahead and select cancel. I can also view the list view for the last 8 days. So I can just hit the 8-day toggle. And once again, I can scroll through the last 8 days here in the list view. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to today in the grid view. Now we do have more reports here on Z-Logs. We do have the menu button up here to the top left. I can go ahead and select that. And you can see we have roadside view. So I know we were talking about this earlier with the cab cards, but I'll just access roadside view here. And this is where drivers want to go if they are involved with their roadside inspection. This is where they want to take the compliance officer, as this has all the mandatory information they'll need while performing these roadside inspections. You can see here we have the 70-hour total on drive hours. So you can see there's about 22 hours and 48 minutes here. you can see the last 8-day information as well as their 70. You can see driver information. These hyperlinks can be touched. This is good for compliance officers. Once again, you have the carrier information as well. Looks like we can look at. We do have the grid view. Once again, the associated clocks onto the right. And scrolling down, we have the list view as well per day with the odometer. Now, if you want to exit roadside view, you can go ahead and hit the back button. Please note that this will ask the driver to enter their PIN. As you are getting back to the main ZLogs application screen where you can make edits, change your duty statuses, we always want to make sure this is the driver accessing these pages. Oh, actually, I entered the wrong PIN here. I'll go ahead and select OK. And we get back here to the main screen. Here in the menu button, we also have another report, and this is our update duty status. You can see I'm currently on duty right now, but let's say I want to switch my duty status to maybe off duty. I can go ahead and do that. I can go ahead and select off duty. I'll apply. It's going to ask me for my odometer. Since I am here with the desk unit, I'm not connected to an engine, I have to just go ahead and manually put my odometer in. Now, if you're connected to the ECM, this will automatically populate your odometer. So I'll go ahead and put in my odometer here. You can see since I am connected, I am docked, I'm connected to that V3 GPS box. It automatically gets my location. And I'll go ahead and save when I'm finished. So it's going to save that, and now it's going to enter that and readjust my logs here in ZLogs. So the last report we'll go into in ZLogs is go back up here to our menu. And we'll go to trailer and load details. This is where drivers can go ahead and enter their trailer and their load details, whatever they're shipping or carrying. So you can see here we have the current asset, license plate information. You see I'm currently not carrying a trailer or a load or a dolly. If I would like to, I can hit the add. Let's say I have a new trailer I just attached. I'll go ahead and select my trailer. I'll go ahead and enter my trailer number. License plate. And jurisdiction. And I can go ahead and select save. So now you can see I have an added trailer now. So I'm ready to go. Have that recorded, as that does show on roadside view as well. And if I'd say I wanted to add a shipping and load documentation, I can do that too. You can see I just hit load, and then shipping doc number, I'll just go ahead and put that in. I'll select done and save again. Now I got my shipping and my load documentation in here, so I'm ready to go. I can hit the back button to get out. And this does show in the list view annotation. So if I go to list, it will show you the timestamp of when the driver added the trailer and the load. This also is the same thing if you're removing the two. So it's our ZLogs application here on the tablet side. The next report applications we're going to go into now is our messaging and navigation at the home button. To access messaging, once again, I can either go over here and hit the messaging application, or I can just go down here to the bottom left, which I'll do. You can see I have 2 unread messages right now. So you can see here, very similar to what we saw in ground traffic control, as well as like I said, email. You have the inbox, unread messages, sent messages, outbox, and trash. You can see here's our 2 unread messages. I can select one. You can see this is just probably just a test message it looked like by looking at the subject. So you can see, yep, from our Zonar Systems dispatcher, just a standard text message. I can delete this if I would like. If I want to reply, I can just hit the reply button. I'll be sending this to my Zonar Systems dispatcher, and I can just type my message there. I'll just go ahead and cancel. And we'll go ahead and now look at this next route message. This is a message that we'll go ahead and link into navigation. So it looks like our Zonar Systems dispatcher sent us the next route of where we need to go. I can go ahead and once again reply if I would like, or just go ahead and select the link. So by selecting that link, what that's going to do is take us into the navigation app. So you can see now it's going to show us the results. You can see we actually have two options for this. It's actually the same address. One's abbreviated, you can see, and one's not. Does not matter, so I'll go ahead and select the address. You can see this is looks like it's where we're going. This looks correct. I'll hit the blue arrow to continue. And it's going to show us, I can add this to my favorites if I would like. I can just proceed to this route. If I was currently in a route, I can set as my next stop. I can route through here or avoid the road. I'm just going to go ahead and proceed to the navigation, to the address. Now it's going to ask us to view our routing profiles. Like I said, if you do go ahead and enter the custom dimensions of that vehicle in the Assets Managed page in Ground Traffic Control, it'll pull down to this AOK truck. For example, you can see this is 12 feet high. I have my hazardous materials in here as well. So it's not going to take me under any bridges that are, 12 feet or lower, or any tunnels right now since I do have a hazmat material. So I'm going to go ahead, and use this profile. Now you can see it's going to show us our ETA, about 44 minutes it looks like, 26 miles. And you can see I'll get there around 10:41 a.m. if I leave now. I can always choose alternate routes as well. But this looks good. This is kind of my current my fastest route here. So I'm going to go ahead and select go. Once you do that, I now have a tablet talking to me saying in 0.3 miles, I need to turn left on South Todd Boulevard. Here in navigation, you can also see we do have our hours of service clocks over here to the right, just showing you maybe your next current violation or your off-duty clock, which I'm currently off-duty, so I show I've been off-duty for 5 minutes. If I want to quickly update my duty status, I can by hitting the Update Status link. If I want to go ahead and view more information in navigation, I have the menu button. I can go ahead and hit Main Menu. You can see we have some more options, such as our address. If I go ahead and select address, this is where if maybe we didn't get an next route sent to us, I have to go ahead and type in the address to route. This is where I can go ahead and do that. We have my places. Once again, this is our favorites. So if you, like I said, have routes that you usually go to, you can always save them as your favorites and easily access them here. We also have points of interest. So if you're looking for maybe like a restaurant, a quick hotel, quick truck stop, we do have that in our POIs. I can go ahead and select more categories. And you can see we have a lot more. You can see truck services. We have highway exits, truck service, truck stops. Let's say I want to look for a current truck stop. You can see your needs fuel stop. I can go ahead and say, oh, this is the most nearest one. I want to go ahead and select this one. We can once again add this as a favorite, proceed to this route, or we can set this as a next stop. I'm going to go ahead and do that since we're currently already in a route. Once again, I'll use the same profile. So now you can see here, we'll start here. You can see we're going to stop here at the Ernie's fuel station, and then we'll proceed on to our route. Once again, I'll go to say, okay, this looks good. And there we go. The last thing I do want to show you here in navigation is if I go to the menu, select Main Menu, and we'll go to our routes down here. we'll plan and edit our trip. So now let's say I actually wanted to go down here to the Bonnie Lake first and then go to the fuel stop on the way back to our location. I can just drag and drop. And it's that easy to go ahead and, manage my stops for the day. I can go ahead and calculate route, use my profile. And you can see my ETA and everything's going to change a little bit because I'm going all the way back down south, all the way going to north. So you can see now, once again, I'll select go. And there we go. So that's our navigation app here on the tablet side. And with that, I know we're just about here with no more time. I've actually went ahead and showed you just about everything I want to show you guys here today. We went over, all 4 applications on both ground traffic control and here on the tablet. We also went over some admin reporting, such as how to manage your assets and your drivers. And we went over some support documentation on ground traffic control, as well as the help file here on the tablet. Now, if you guys have any further questions, we will leave the line open for about 5-10 more minutes. So please go ahead and type those questions in, and we'll get those answered for you before we end the webinar today. If you don't have any questions, please feel free to end the webinar. I really appreciate your guys' time today, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Thank you. Goodbye.